How's it going, everybody? It is I, Vigili. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and welcome back to another Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle versus Daniel over here in the OU tier. So looking at his team, Hoopa Unbound is going to be scary to play against, and yeah, he has a bunch of hard hitters, as I'm running a bouncy type of team. Shuca, Tapu, Koko, Scarf, Landorus, Firium Z, Heatran, and my Stealth Rocker is Clefable. We got Mega Latias on here and a Snorlax. You don't see Snorlax too much in the OU tier, so it'll be fun to try out Snorlax, as it has insane special defense. And once he gets those curses up, it's going to be tough to take down. So I lead off with my Landorus as he leads off with Heatran. I expect him to want to switch out as he goes into Gyarados, which is to be expected, as Gyarados can just be immune to Earthquake. Maybe also take advantage if I want to go for Stealth Rock, so he can maybe DD up. But yeah, usually Landorus don't carry SD Explosion as a bounty type of team that I'm using. Maybe more offensive teams. So I guess maybe he wasn't worrying about that. As I actually brought in Tapu Koko, as he stayed in. What a mad lad. As I Volt Switch, I'm Shuca, so I don't knock out the Mega Gyarados, as Mega Gyarados is pretty dang bulky naturally. I'm bringing my Landorus, as I expect him to probably want to Dragon Dance up, or probably just Earthquake, as he does just Earthquake. I have Shuca, so even if he did Earthquake me, I would live it. And now I just U-turn, and he actually stays in to, I guess, sack his Mega Gyarados, since maybe he thought he messed up, as Mega Gyarados was already weakened to the point where maybe he can't even get a Dragon Dance up. So pretty awesome for me, as I bring in Tapu Koko, and he brings in the Heatran. I just go switch, and I get a crit right there, which is pretty nice. But in all honesty, I don't think it really mattered too much, since it gets to a KO'd either way if I want to go for a Thunderbolt or a full switch. And it turns out to be offensive Tran as well, as I bring in my Landorus. He Magma Storms, traps me, but I could just U-turn and get out of there. And it does have leftovers recovery, so maybe it could be getting out of range, but he actually just stays in here to get knocked out by Earthquake. He doesn't have a too good switch into Earthquake, as Gyarados was his only way of dodging an Earthquake, since it's the only way of him being immune to it. As Kartana doesn't appreciate switching in on an Earthquake or Greninja or any of the other mons, so yeah, that's why I went for the Earthquake right there. He brings in Greninja, probably one on getting his Battle Bond, as I go into Snorlax, and Snorlax takes 2 hits and it does absolutely nothing, as he turns out to be a Life Orb. So that could be a problem, as he can switch up moves. But now over here I just go for the Fire Punch, as I expect Kartana to want to come in, and I don't expect him to stay with Greninja. And I mean, the only real switch I would expect is Kartana, since that seems to be maybe the best bet to take a hit from Snorlax and potentially stop me from cursing, because I'm pretty sure Sacred Sword ignores my defense boost. So yeah, I just switched into my Tapu Koko. Unfortunately, I burned the Kartana, so that allows me to switch into Tapu Koko on the Kartana. If not, I probably would have switched in Lottie, to be honest. Turns out he's Choice Scarf, and Lottie can just scout to see if he's Scarf or Banded. I could take a knockoff, and I could just knock him out with Ice Beam, so it wasn't really that big of a deal, to be honest. It just allowed me to just go into Koko and kind of just full switch on it, since I didn't really want to bring in Lottie, I guess. So I brought in Lando, he brought in Greninja. I don't want to take a Water Shuriken, because that could maybe knock me out if he gets enough hits. And now I can just freely bring in my Snorlax, as Snorlax can easily just wall the crap out of it. He gets 5 hits, that does nothing, as this allows me to probably just curse up. He tries to go for Dark Pulse, brings me in that Figy Berry range. I have Gluttony, so that's why it activates at 50%, as the Pinch Berries usually activate at 1/4, but since I have Gluttony, it activates really early. So I actually went for Facade right there. I should have went for a Curse, but I go for a Recycle right there. I guess I was trying to just knock out Greninja. I didn't really see a point of just going for Curses, since the rest of his team wasn't really going to do too much to me, hopefully. As he just throws off the Hydro Pump right there, activates my Berry again, and yeah, he's not going to be able to break through my Snorlax, as now I go for the Curse. And it's time to bulk up and get some big boy damage off on the rest of his mons, as Greninja seems to be probably going to knock itself out with the Life Orb. But then he goes into Hoopa over here. So yeah, I remember I was kind of scared of Hoopa coming in, so I wanted Facade up, but I guess he wasn't bringing it, and he was just going to sack his Greninja, so I was like, okay, I'll deal with it. But now that Hoopa came in, I was like, alright, I don't want to die to this, because I might actually die to it, like if it's Z-move or something like that. So I'm just going to go in my Clefable, as he turns out to be Nasty Plot. So I'm like, okay, this has got to be Z-move. But he doesn't actually fire it off, so maybe it's like Dark-Beam Z, most likely, I would see, on a Nasty Plot set. And luckily, Side Shock hits the defense side of Clefable, so that's why I lived it at +2, because Clefable is going to be max defense. And Hoopa has insane special defense, so that's why I don't knock him out with the Moonblast right there. So, willing to sack Clefable, since it's really only there for the Hoopa Unbound, I guess, at that point. And now I bring in my Landorus, and I outspeed the Hoopa, as I can go for that nice Choice Scarf U-turn. Unless this was Z-Snatch and it gets +2 speed, that could be actually terrifying. but luckily it was not. So yeah, just goodbye Hoopa Unbound, and now I bring in my Snorlax, and his last two mons can't really break through Snorlax at all. But he does bring in the Tapu Koko, and actually I was kind of scared if it was going to be like Banded Wild Charge, not going to lie. So that's why I'm going to switch out my Snorlax and just like, I guess, scout for Banded Wild Charge, you never really know. And just go into my Lottie as he just fires off the T-Ball, and that looks to be probably Choice Specs damage. He gets the unfortunate pair right there, and that could actually stop my Lottie from doing anything at all, but luckily I do just Mega Evolve, and I actually do break through and to knock out his Greninja. I just go for the Surf since there's no really other reason to go for a Psychic since he's immune to it, and Ice Beam doesn't really matter either. I mean, I guess Ice Beam could freeze the Koko if I wanted to go for that. That probably would be better, but yeah, I guess I maybe forgot how much Greninja's HP was at, because you can never check the HP range in a Wi-Fi battle like on Pokemon Showdown. So I just kind of forgot. So now I bring in my Landorus, and Tapu Koko will just go down to the Earthquake unless he's Shuca Berry, but judging from the damage I was like, that's gotta be Specs, I would have guessed. And plus Dazzling Gleam, I mean, he could have done that like the first time around on my Mega Lottie anyways. Maybe he just thought maybe I'll be a Choice Scarf, I don't know. But yeah, that's gonna be a GG to Daniel right there. Snorlax pretty much walled the crap out of that Greninja and Fire Punch that Kartana. And yeah, I was kind of scared of that Hoopa Unbound, but luckily it was neutralized. So next up we got Johan over here. He has a Pelipper, but no Mega Swampert. He has Charizard. So maybe he just forgot his Pokemon in Megas. He should have put a Mega Swampert right there. Maybe it's Charizard, why, I don't know. Because Pelipper is just odd looking at it. Maybe he just wants to power up Greninja's power with like Specs or something. Maybe it's Firium Z, maybe Mystic Water. Who knows, really. I'm just really trying to figure out why there's a Pelipper on what seems to be not a rain team. So usually you would see like maybe a Tornadus or, I don't know, Kingdra, something like that. Maybe even Manatee. But I'll lead off with Tapu Koko as it leads off with Gliscor, and I'm just like, alright, I got Shuca Berry, I can live in Earthquake, I'm just going to go for Hidden Power Ice, as he lives that, obviously, since Gliscor is pretty dang bulky. He goes for the knockoff, gets rid of my Shuca Berry, and he's like, well, crap, this thing was Shuca Berry. He probably expected me to be scared of Earthquake. That's why he went for the knockoff, expecting me to probably want to switch out, but yeah, that is not going to be the case, as now I just gonna try and knock out the Gliscor with an Hidden Power Ice. And he just, I guess, sacks it. He just realized Gliscor was not gonna be able to maybe recover up. But he did have to protect, so maybe he could have protected up every time he switched it in and got it back. But I do have Hidden Power Ice on my Landorus T as well, so I'll just go for that if it comes down to that. So he brings in Charizard Y, and I just stayed on Tapu Koko. Even if it was Charizard X, I just Volt Switch because I'm outspeeding it. So yeah, Charizard Y comes in, I just Volt Switch on it, and it lives because it's Charizard Y, pretty damn bulky, and I have a pretty easy switch in, which is Mega Lottie, unless he just goes for a random Dragon Pulse, which I might even probably live that as well. He gets an unfortunate burn right there with the Heat Wave. I don't know why he's running Heat Wave. I guess he likes missing, but at the same time, it is more powerful than Flamethrower. But I want to run just a 5 more base power move than Flamethrower because it has 10% less accuracy than Flamethrower. Like, I hate missing, especially with Heat Wave, because it can kind of matter a lot. Unless he wants to use his team for doubles, then it makes sense. So I just go for the Surfer there and knock him out as in comes Tapu Koko. And Tapu Koko, it does seem to be timid since it's shiny, obviously, because it only can be timid shiny. No other nature. So I'm pretty sure it might go for Specs Dazzling Gleam. That's why I want to go into Snorlax over here. I doubt he wants to go for anything else. I can take anything like a Volt Switch, Thunderbolt. Snorlax will take it all. Turns out he's not Specs, as he just switches his moves and goes for a Volt Switch. So maybe it's like Shuca Berry, potentially. Who knows? As he brings into Hawlucha, I just go for a Facade, do a little bit of chip damage, and now I'm just going to switch out into my Clefable, as Clefable should be my dedicated answer to Hawlucha. Hawlucha runs amok everywhere in OU, so you got to have something for Hawlucha, because if you don't, you're just going to get swept by it, like, easily. And that's why this max defense Clefable is a boss, because it lives a +2 acrobatics from Hawlucha, even Adamant, and we just one-shot it with that nice Moonblast, and down it goes. So if your team does not have something for Hawlucha, you're gonna be tough out of luck in the OU tier, that's for sure. So brings in Greninja, and I do not want to let this thing get Battle Bond, so I'm going to switch into my Snorlax. Snorlax can easily take anything. Specs Hydro Pump, I'll take it, because I got that nice Figy Berry. And I'll munch on that and regain all my HP, and I can just recycle, Figy Berry up. That's why Snorlax is just so dang good. And honestly, Snorlax with Clefable pairs up so well, since Snorlax does not appreciate fighting types. Clefable just switches on those fighting types. And yeah, I guess the worst bet is to face a Hoopa Unbound, because Hoopa Unbound has fighting and Gunk Shot, so we've already played against that, but luckily, just U-turn on that Hoopa Unbound. So he brings in Pelipper. At this point in the game, I was like, yeah, Snorlax looks like be able to just win since the rest of his mons look to be just special attackers, so I wasn't really too worried about it. Just go for some curses. It's funny that every time the end game is like a Greninja and a Tapu Koko, and this time I guess a Pelipper trying to confuse me with Hurricane, which is actually kind of scary. So I could have probably just kept on cursing and stuff like that. I do hit myself in confusion right there. I probably should just go for some recycles and just keep regaining my health, but sooner or later I'm just like getting tired of it because it's taking a little bit too long, and since Hurricane is 100% accuracy in rain, I just wanted to finish up the game real quick, so that's why I think I don't recycle and I go for a Facade. He snaps out of confusion right there, which is very nice. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit HP though. I'm trying to get out of range of a Hydro Pump pretty much from like a Specs Greninja. But judging from that Greninja's Hydro Pump from earlier, it didn't do enough than I thought. Like, I thought it would be Specs, but it wasn't Specs. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's going to be like Mystic Water or something. And I was kind of expecting maybe Tapu Koko to be Z-move as well, because Z-move Tapu Koko is actually pretty decent. But usually you would see Wild Charge Z-move, so, and I doubt he would be Wild Charged on a Timid Tapu Koko. Anyways, he brings in Tapu Koko, I guess, trying to paralyze me or something like that, but that's not going to do anything. As, yeah, he just probably sack Tapu Koko, and then he's probably going to bring in Pelipper, and then maybe try and win with Greninja, maybe? Since with the water up, or the rain up, Greninja would be doing decent damage with Hydro Pump, not going to lie. So he just keeps on Thunderbolting. I'm just like bulking up, and now I go for the Facade to a KO the Tapu Koko, and it is Air Balloon right there, so I guess I just forgot about that. And anyways, Air Balloon goes by so fast. It's really hard to see if it's Air Balloon or not. So that's good to know. And we knock out Tapu Koko, and now I think he just brings in Pelipper, and I just Facade that. I probably should, like I said, go for like max HP Snorlax, because he goes for the Hurricanes over here and weakens me pretty nicely to the point where maybe a Greninja could be a problem, because I Facade him, and I should be able to 2-kill him. I think actually I forgot I recycle over here, and yeah, I just didn't recycle again. But that's what Snorlax does. Like, it just literally recycles all the time, to be honest. So he was Hurricanes right there. I think I just thought I had it in the bag, to be honest, with Snorlax, because you guys will see that I made a mistake over here at some point. Like, I should have just like got max HP, like I said. I didn't do that. Yeah, over here I kind of messed up because Greninja is going to be able to knock me out with Rain Up, and that's going to be a problem since with Ash, Battle Bond outspeeds Tapu Koko, and with the rest of my team it could be kind of bad. Since it can kind of one-shot everything, like maybe Water Shuriken and my Landorus-T. Even though Landorus-T Choice Scarf does outspeed it, maybe you won't expect me to be Choice Scarf and not Water Shuriken me. But I was naive, and it does more damage, and if he gets more than 3 hits, he can knock me out with Landorus-T. He's not Specs though, since he is Water Z, so I'm not that worried about it. But at the same time, Hydro Pump can knock out Heatran, Lottie goes down to Dark Pulse, so it's kind of bad. But Rain does end, and Tapu Koko is weakened, so I do believe I am in range of a Hydro Pump from a Greninja that's not Specs. But he misses the Hydro Pump, and I knock him out with that Thunderbolt right there. And that is going to be game, as that is pretty unfortunate, because if he got some nice hits with Water Shuriken on Landorus-T, he could have pulled through, and if it knocked out Tapu Koko, because my Tapu Koko is running a little bit HP on it, but I'm pretty sure I still probably get knocked out by Hydro Pump from that range. Maybe. I forget the rules though. But yeah, that's pretty unfortunate for Johan. I mean, it's my fault. I should have just kept cursing up and recycling, but like you guys saw, it was taking a while, so I kind of got just like bored of it, and I just wanted to rush the end game, because I was like, alright, I don't care if I win or lose, I just want to finish it. But in reality, I should have just took it nice and slow. But it's okay. I mean, we dodged the Hydro Pump. So last game we got is versus Daniel. He wants revenge. He brought a different team over here. I actually forgot I used the same team against him. I do that a lot. As he got a scary team of Mega Alakazam and then the Zygarde. So Psychic Spam plus Zygarde. Oof, that is going to be tough. And then he brought some Yu-Mons, Volcanion and Hydreigon, which is cool. I like that a lot. And then a nice Rotom Wash. So yeah, he has actually no Rocker on his team, which is kind of cool. Pretty nice to deal with. But yeah, no hazards at all. But honestly, I don't think he needs it, because he literally has some hard hitters. As I lead off a Clef, trying to maybe get some rocks up versus his team, but he leads off a Lele. I'm like, well, I don't want to deal with that as I go into Heatran. Heatran kind of soft check for Tapu Lele. Turns out to be Taunt. and he's going to fire off the Firium Z, and it's going to blow back my Heatran, and this is why you kind of need maybe max HP Heatran, because max HP Heatran should be able to take a Firium Z from a Tapu Lele. Maybe it's not modest though, it might be a roll though, but I'm pretty sure even Spadef Heatran should be able to take a Firium Z easily. Maybe not max HP, I'm pretty sure max Spadef easily lives a Tapu Lele Firium Z, but not an offensive one like I'm running. So down goes my Heatran. Nice little tech with Tapu Lele, I like to use that sometimes as well. Sometimes even Electrium Z to catch a Celesteela. But now I bring in my Choice Scarf Landorus T. I expect him to switch out because I doubt he wants to maybe risk me going for Flying Z with my Landorus or something like that. And he brings in Water Wash, which is a pretty easy switch on the Landorus. And I just bring in my Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko would hopefully scare out a Rotom Wash, as I can just fire off a Thunderbolt. Rotom would live it, but it doesn't appreciate the damage, and plus it's leftovers, so it's not a pinch berry. So he brings in Tapu Lele right there, as Tapu Lele will easily take a hit unless I'm like Wild Charge, and yeah, I'm not Wild Charge. So he takes that Thunderbolt. I just go for another Thunderbolt, try and weaken Tapu Lele and knock it out, but that is not going to be the case. And he goes for a Moonblast right there, so that's pretty nice for me, as I can easily live that. Luckily he didn't go for a Psychic right there, as now I get to knock out the Tapu Lele. So his Psychic Trainer is gone, so hopefully Mega Zam won't be going in, but he brings in the Mega Zam right now. So Mega Zam is a problem because I don't have a good switch into it, since it kind of destroys balance a lot with Focus Blast, Shadow Ball, and Psychic. So I go into Snorlax over here, kind of just like, alright, maybe I could take a Psychic, and I can activate my Figy Berry if it doesn't, if it does do over half. So he traces my Gluttony, which doesn't really matter. Psychic does a lot of damage in Psychic Train, but it doesn't do over half. And over here, I expected Focus Blast, so I was expecting to probably want to switch out, maybe into like Zygarde or something like that. So I went to Landorus, maybe I can HP Ice it, but he stays into Psychic me, and I was like, what? Man, you could have just Focus Blasted me. Maybe you expected me to switch. Maybe you just wanted to sack his Alakazam and just hope that Psychic would do a lot. But yeah, I was really surprised with that. Losing Landorus is kind of big, since now I can't really like U-turn on a lot of his mons. I don't have something to outspeed Mega Zam, and that's kind of bad. So I bring in my Mega Lottie, and looking at it, I'm hoping he doesn't have Shadow Ball on this, as I just go for an Ice Beam. He spams Recover right there, and then he reveals he has Shadow Ball, which is odd to me. Maybe he thought I would be like a Scarf Lottie and go for Draco Meteor, potentially. That's what I would guess. But over here, I'm just hoping for like some Ice Beam freeze hacks, but I don't get it. So now I'm like, alright, let's go into Snorlax. So Lottie is weakened, but at the same time, it wasn't that big of a deal, since maybe you can switch it on Volcanion either way, since it's probably my switch into Volcanion. I can't really switch it on Hydreigon or Zygarde though. So even though I could Ice Beam the Zygarde, which would be nice. But he brings in Rotom, I bring in Clef because I do want to get my rocks up and chip away at Volcanion and stuff like that. As Rotom could potentially just defog, but Rotom doesn't really do much to Clefable either way. Unless it's Trick, which could be annoying. But he brings in Zygarde, which is actually interesting. Leads me to believe maybe he has Iron Tail, or maybe even not Steelium Z, since his Z move is Tapu Lele. So maybe it's like Banded Iron Tail is what I'm guessing, as luckily I do get my rocks up. I'm going to switch out because I expect Iron Tail to pop out. Go into my Snorlax, which should be able to activate its berry, as he does fire off the Iron Tail right there. And yeah, we take that pretty nicely, as we're running a lot of defense on Snorlax as well. A lot of HP and a lot of special defense. Careful Nature. And Curse and Recycle, Fire Punch, and Facade should be good to go. So I go for Recycle right there, and I'm kind of hoping he does actually Will-O-Wisp me over here, because that will boost up my Facade. Even though it's a nice little 6% chip, it does boost up my Facade, and it will be nice and powerful. So he does go for the Wisp right there, and that is nice for me, as Facade is going to be doing some big boy damage, as I just go for some Curses now. And yeah, he doesn't have a too good switching anymore. Looking at his team, I actually might just sweep his entire team of Snorlax, since unless, I mean, here to use his Z move with the Tapu Lele, unless he has some nice hard-hitting fighting stab, which he doesn't, or maybe like a Specs Hydreigon Focus Blast, which nobody runs. He would have to hope for some hacks, pretty much. So he brings in Hydreigon right there, and I am just going to Facade that thing into Obliteration, as yeah, that is not going to live a Facade at all from Snorlax. When I just cursed all the way up. Maybe, I think I cursed like once or twice. Brings in a Volcanion. This thing is not going to do much. Even if it's Choice Specs, I can take it like with ease. Go for a Cycle, just an off chance that he brings me over, since I didn't have my Figy Berry right there. And yeah, I'm pretty much good to go. I go for another Recycle though, just to activate it and get more HP, because I might be in range of a Focus Blast. I just want to keep it out of range from a Focus Blast from Mega Alakazam, honestly, because Mega Alakazam could easily just win the game if a Snorlax is gone. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be hopefully out of range from a Mega Alakazam after a Steam Eruption. Like, I think he activates my berry, so he just brings in Zygarde right there. and I just fire off the Facade, and that should be able to 2-hit KO the Zygarde. And with my defensive boost, he should be in, bring me in range of my Figy Berry, and I'll just activate it and I'll live, but nope. He gets a nice critical hit with that Outrage. I'm like, well, goodbye Snorlax, and goodbye game, because now Alakazam looks to be just going in on my team, since it outspeeds everything and literally just Psychics and Shadow Balls everything, so my only hope is to try and, like, maybe just hacks it. So I go for Roost right there, hopefully be out of range of, like, Alakazam Psychic. I probably should have went for another Roost right there, but I didn't, because I guess I was scared of Zygarde staying in and going for 1,000 arrows, but I'm pretty sure it's banded. Like, I don't know why I went for the Thunderbolt right there. Maybe on the off chance he went for Alakazam, but I think if I roosted all the way, maybe I'd be out of range from Alakazam, even though I doubt it since Alakazam is so dang strong. Because like I said, I'm running a little bit of HP on my Tapu Koko. So, yeah, he just Psychics me and outspeeded me, obviously since Mega Zam is faster, and I die. So, now I bring Clefable, I'm like, alright, maybe I can get a crit Moonblast? That would be nice, and knock out Mega Zam, but nope, I don't get it. I do get a nice special attack drop though, which actually helps me out a little bit, since that might be able to help me live a hit with Mega Lati and a Shadow Ball. So he knocks me out my Clefable right there. That kind of sucks. And my only hope actually is Mega Lati, since it's my last Pokemon, and it could potentially win the last game, since you know, his last Pokemon can't really beat it. His best bet is Mega Alakazam. So it goes for Shadow Ball. I live on 1 HP. And I go for the Roost. I'm like, oh my god, this is my chance. I go for another Roost, and then maybe I can get an Ice Beam freeze. So he goes for a Recover right there. I guess maybe trying to get out of range from any kind of hit that I went for. I probably should have attacked him, but at the same time, he has Zygarde in the back, and Zygarde Bandit has E-Speed all the time, so he just go for that. So that's why I wanted to Roost all the way up. So he goes for another Shadow Ball. Doesn't even 2-hit kill me. I go for Ice Beam, like, please freeze, no freeze. He stays in again to Shadow Ball me, and I think I go for a Roost over there. Mainly because, obviously, I'm in range of E-Speed, and he's trying to put me in range of E-Speed. Like, he doesn't need Zam. All he needs is just put me in range of E-Speed, honestly. So, I'm just trying to get some freeze hacks and then stay out of range from E-Speed damage. And then I will literally win the game. So that's why I Roost up again, as he just like recovers, and then if he just switches out, honestly, he could literally just win the game, because that -1 special attack for him is just ruining it, because he can just 2-hit kill me with Shadow Ball. But he's not. He's allowing me to try and get a freeze with Ice Beam, so I'm just going for it, man. And I think finally he realizes that he's not going to win this battle, because, you know, it's not doing over 50%, and all he really needs to do is just switch out Mega Zam and then bring it back in, because it can actually 1v1 Mega Lati. But yeah, go for another Ice Beam, trying to freeze it, but nope, that is not the case. He goes for Recovery again, and yeah, that, I mean, you know, he got hacks on me, I'm gonna try and hack him back. Pretty much that is Pokemon for you. As you got the nice 4% chance to crit, and maybe I can get a nice 10% chance to freeze. But then he finally realizes, he goes into Rotom as an Ice Beam, and that is gonna be game, because Mega Zam will just 2-hit kill me. So Rotom, actually I could beat with Psychic though, but I think he just goes for a Will-Wisp. And no, he just goes for a Will Switch. I would go for a Wisp and just like whittle me down even more. And then actually he doesn't really need to do that. He just speeds it up with going into Mega Zam after a Will Switch, and then just Shadow Balls me. So goodbye Mega Lati. See you later. If only I didn't get critted, Snorlax could have swept his entire team though, because Snorlax would live that Zygarde hit, and hopefully live a Focus Blast from Mega Zam, potentially, with the Figy Berry HP. Like, it just like recover all me after, recover all my HP after an Outrage damage. And yeah, I'll definitely be out of range. So, unfortunate, but hey, that's Pokemon for you. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, do your thing, and comment question of the day is, what is going to be your favorite cursor in Pokemon? We got Snorlax cursing, we got Mega Steelix cursing, we got Ho-Oh and Mega Scizor cursing. Well, nobody sees Ho-Oh, but hey, learns curse now. So, yeah, I'll leave it down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, peace.